Okay, hello, Solomon and Christina. I just wanted to do a recap after our experience. Solomon, you came to visit us last week, and this is now a week later, approximately a week later. You left, what was it, early Sunday last week. It's Saturday the following week, and we just wanted to kind of hear your feedback, hear your experience, share what you, um, how it went for you. And we would like to do the same. So if you could kind of maybe do a quick recap of what you, uh, your accident and what you were dealing with when you came to visit.
Sure. So I was in a horrific motorcycle accident where um, broken dislocated my wrist, broken dislocated my ankle, and cut my knee open all the way down to the bone. Um, and then, of course, I had never had a surgery a day in my life, so I didn't really know the ins and outs of, what scar tissue was, and until I really started Googling it later. But because it was COVID, and I was supposedly in quarantine, they let me sit there for a couple of weeks, just still, and a lot of scar tissue formulated in my knee, and my leg locked in place, so I couldn't even move it past like a 40 or 42-degree angle. I couldn't bend it. I ended up having to have manipulation under anesthesia where they just kind of crank on your knee. Uh, and that's even more trauma to you because the scar tissue connects to your bone. They make you actually sign a waiver in case a bone breaks, But, thank God, after the procedure that I didn't break the bones. But after that, you can imagine my knee is swollen, it's painful. Um, and and then I pretty much have to rehab through that pain, you know. Um, so what ended up happening was I rehabbed through the pain, but I had still was having pain, had lost some range of motion, wasn't really back to my normal self, and wanted to find natural remedy, to really help me, because I went back to the doctor to see. I said, can we get motion back? Is there anything else we can do? And he, of course, he offered another surgery, which was weird because he was talking about some procedure where it separated my quad from my bone, and then that wasn't 100%. That I was like, all right. As soon as he said that, I was like, all right, we're good. I said, I'm not doing that. So um, I started I prayed about it, because I'm determined to get back to myself. And I got on the internet, started researching. I found this cat called the Knee Guru, right? And I started looking at his page, and I said, oh man, I said, looks like he knows what he's doing. So I reached out, and of course, had a consultation with Bill, and you know, immediately when I spoke to Bill, he kind of set me at ease, with his wisdom about things. He was kind of on the same page as I was, as far as uh, natural remedies, you know. Um, then he kind of educated me because I knew before talking to Bill that it was a possibility that cartilage could be regrown and things of that nature. I just didn't really know exactly how to do it, But he had the wisdom, he had the knowledge about things. So, immediately I knew I was in the right place, you know. Um, and we started doing our private coaching in February, and back in February, they took X-rays of me, and supposedly I was bone on bone. But when I started doing the coaching with Bill, and doing the pain pattern interrupts, it was helping me because I was going to work every morning. I work a lot. I work all day, and sometimes, before, getting with Bill, I would wake up and not even be able to make it to my vehicle, but after I started, the coaching with Bill, and doing the pain pattern interrupts, you know, I had a tool, so so when I wake up and my knee is sore or something like that, I can do a pain pattern interrupt to relieve that pain, and then still make it out and handle my business. What have you. So, over time, things started to get progressively better, you know. But at the same time, I was working all the time, literally. I was working all day. I would work 16-hour days, and so, Bill's just like, look, man, I like to get you in a bubble, because, and rightfully so, because I'm ripping and running, my diet isn't extremely poor, but it wasn't extremely good either because I didn't have time to cook, you know. And so he was like, "Look, man, I want to get you in a bubble. Um, I want to get you down here and just do some intensive, uh, intensive care." And I said, "You know what?" I said, I would like that. That would be nice. And I knew that on July the 1st that I would be ran up with my days because I work for the city, so, for the state. So, we get, vacation days and personal leave days and things of that nature. So I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to allow this to be my vacation slash healing trip, you know? And man, I didn't know what to expect, but, that's exactly what it turned out to be. You know, um, it was awesome. I came down there. Bill was great. You know, this lady Christina, she was awesome. She's a homeopath. They were able to evaluate. Well, Bill was able to work on me hands on, and do treatment hands on. And I learned so much when him doing the treatment because I wasn't necessarily doing the pain pattern interrupt wrong. I was just applying too much pressure. He showed me um, that less is more. You know, um, that I really didn't have to strain because I'm thinking in my mind, will it hurt? So if I press it hard, then that'll help. But it wasn't like that. So it was really good to see, how he, actually did the treatment. Um, Christina was great. We did an intake where she kind of asked me about everything I had been through, leading up to then. And then right away, she was taking notes and started to, put together homeopathic remedies, tailored for me, which is awesome, But it was so peaceful. I was able to really, you know, bring my neurology, bring my nervous system down, really relax, really get my mental together, really get the rest that I need, um, so my body could truly, truly get the healing it needs. Because again, I was working so much, it's hard to really get centralized and get granular and pay attention to your body when you're ripping it. So being down there for that week, you know, um, not really having to worry about the hustle and bustle, um, allowing Bill to be hands-on to work on me, you know. Um, so any little nuance, any little thing that I was dealing with, he can kind of see and entreat and come up with a plan, strategy for, you know. And Christina really seeing the whole thing and being able to tailor make, you know, little tinctures and homeopathic remedies, it was just great. It was priceless, honestly. Um, and so, when I left, we had effectively now come up with a strategy because that's part of my journey, it's part of my healing. And now we have a strategy uh, moving forward, to really get me to where, I set out to be, which was, close to 100% as possible. So it was awesome. I highly recommend it, to anybody. Don't let these clinicians lie to you and just give you a death sentence saying that you need to get a knee replacement, or that's it for you, because it's not true. We have somebody like Bill, who's here, knows what he's doing, to help you, to kind of lead you out of the woods. So yeah, it was great for me. Again, it was priceless.
Thank you, Solomon. I really appreciate that. It was an absolute pleasure to work with you, and primarily is because you're open to something that may seem it's the unknown. There's a degree of uncertainty and a degree of trust that you had to put into me. So I appreciate that trust and allowing me to be of service in that process. And that's what allowed things to shift so significantly in such a short period of time. I think one of the pieces that I really noticed that allowed for the week to unfold was our conversations throughout the day. And it's like when we have, okay, well, we're going to meet on Monday at 5 p.m. or Thursday at 4:30 or whatever that is. It's like
Yeah.
you're stopping out of your busy day, and we're trying to take the snapshot and get everything crammed into that short conversation or that period of time that we have to connect. And we're you being in Xristina and my environment, that we had these conversations, this ebbs and flows, allowing you to go and rest and take a nap, or putting you on one of the machines so you can drop down. The questions and the situations with your knee and the patterns with your body unfolded in a natural way that I was it was really, really amazing to just kind of step back and watch that unfold. And I think there was a deeper level of being able to help you as a result of that environment that wasn't pressured, that wasn't like we had this schedule to knock everything out. Like there's a good portion of stuff that Xristina and I were talking about this week that it's like, oh, I want to do that with Solomon, and I want to do that with Solomon, but it wasn't meant for that time that you were here. We crammed, um, we fit as much as we could in that space without pushing the river, so to speak, and getting you out of that rested and relaxed state, that ebb and flow throughout the week. So thank you very much for being open and putting your trust in us. And I know Xristina has some feedback and some reflections from what happened this past week.
Oh, definitely. But for Solomon, did you have anything else that you wanted to add after Bill spoke?
No, yeah, actually I did. I agree. Because that's what it is, every day, or, when we do meet, it's that time, I'm doing whatever I'm doing, and then I have to stop, or carve out some time. Whereas, down there, we're able to communicate throughout the day. So we're able to really get detailed, about exactly the ebbs and flows of how my body is feeling, which is awesome. That you can't really ask for too much more. The entire time that I've been injured, I haven't had that deep of healing and relaxation, um, the entire time, you know. And then to be able to communicate with you firsthand, and then come up with a remedy right then and there, you know, it just was remarkable. So thank you, Bill. I appreciate you.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah,
Go
one
ahead.
of the things that Bill would say to me was like when you guys would be working together, like over the course of the day, that the nature of your questions was different when you were able to drop into that more relaxed state, than when you were coming from the pressured I just have a few minutes to have this call. And so it just completely changed how you were observing your body, how things were going. I like the fact that, you're so contemplative and inquisitive. And in that space, like, it allowed you to be so open to different levels of healing in the way that the body's like trying to subtly do, but we push past it because it's got to be now, it's got to be bigger, it's got to be more intense, like that's society's conditioned. And you allowed yourself to step back from that hustle and grind and from that kind of pressure and just be in that leveled out space. And it just seemed like it really kicked in something really good for you. It's like it put something together that was already like weaving inside of you, that it's just beautiful to witness.
Mm.
I also liked being able to, like, I pick up clues for remedies and strategies to use, like in our conversation, sitting at the breakfast table or at dinner, or, just in passing, we're walking down the stairs into the lab for Bill to work on you. And it's like, oh, there's a great symptom that, who knows if that would have come out just in like an interview style that you typically do for a homeopathic intake, like, I did do with you too. So
Sure.
it really enjoyed that. I enjoyed making custom salves and things for you, and the oxym. So the salve we made was a scar tissue salve from stuff that grew on our land, which was really exciting. And then the oxymel is an anti-inflammatory thing to help, in general with inflammation. And that was just a beautiful thing for me too. So I really appreciate being able to serve in that way. And I really enjoyed spending time in that space with you.
Well, appreciate you too, Christine.
No.
Thank you for everything.
Yeah, likewise.
One thing I'm remembering, and this is sticking out from the week. We were sitting at the breakfast table. This must have been, I want to say Tuesday, Wednesday last week, something like that. And it was when we were doing the work with the books underneath the sit bone. And you were sitting there and we were talking, and all of a sudden I could see your neurology dropping and your eyes are getting droopy. And I was like, that was a great time to go, okay, Solomon, you feel that. You feel your neurology dropping.
Right.
Go lay down. Like, you had that ability just to feel that ebb and flow of your nervous system and immediately be able to do what your body needed in order to recover. And I think there was several naps, but I think that one was like a 2 or 3 hour.
Yeah, out of the blue too. Funny.
But that's where when a person's in pain and really in an intense, situation, working as much as you do, you don't have that opportunity to pay attention to those little ebbs and flows, those nuances in your nervous system. So that one sticks out significantly for me. And you honoring yourself in that place where you were able to go, you know what, I am going to lay down, take a nap because I'm tired.
Absolutely.
Because you do show up and lead, and you do show up in that capacity as a man, like on a daily basis. And to be able to step back and be in that vulnerable place, like you were able to do that and not feel like there was any shame or anything that took away from who you are as a person. And that's vulnerability is amazing.
And
No,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Bill. And it's crazy because, and I was telling y'all, I never take naps, because I'm working, I'm doing whatever else. And if you notice, I remember one of the naps that stuck out to me. Well, first of all, the bunny pillow, right? So, one of the naps that stuck out to me. I think I was gonna help Christina do something. She was like, I'm gonna lay down, and I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna sit on this couch. She's like, make yourself comfortable. And I ended up laying my head on the bunny pillow. And I think 2 hours later,
Yeah. Yeah.
I woke up. But just, stuff like that, guys, was priceless, man, because my body needed it, you
Mhm.
know. It needed it. And and it was talking to me, like, and that's why I know That's one of the cues that tells me that I haven't had the healing, like I had that week the whole time that I've been injured, because your body repairs itself while you're sleeping. One,
Mm.
you know, um, but yeah, those naps and to be able to just take a nap at will, was just tremendous.
And I really think that that is where there's a disconnect in male leadership nowadays, is that we have been conditioned in a lot of ways that it's like we can't show any level of weakness and we have to continue to push. But the reality of it is that if we don't honor those ebbs and flows of what our nervous system is going through, we can't show up in the capacity that we need to as men in society. So I think that's it was really refreshing to be able to work with you and have that recognition of needing that you can actually show up more and more powerfully with that, honoring that part of yourself that needed to take a break.
Sure.
And I
I
just,
agree.
yeah, I absolutely agree. And I just want to say one thing. When you first walked off that plane, when you got here to the lab and we saw you walking around, like you were hedging a lot. You look like you were really carrying a burden and just, very tentative. Boy, by the end of the week, like you were walking around with purpose, with determination, like a renewed sense of, yeah, I got this, like this is going to be good. And life is going to work out. Like it was completely different. Like the
Yeah.
way your body, everything was just, it was so beautiful to see.
Yeah.
It showed in your chest.
Yes.
It came from here to being up here. And it was like all around that protection of what you'd been through, the injury, the surgery, the trauma that your body been through. So letting that, allowing that to begin to let go was huge.
And let me say this, Bill. I don't know if I told you, but literally, and this is amazing. I mean, it truly is, and I'm gonna tell you why. So when I came back, no, on Saturday, because I came back on Sunday. On Saturday, I had a conversation with my business partner, and she told me, she said, "You sound different." I said, "Really? You sure?" She's like, "Yes, you sound good." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yes, you sound like you're relaxed." I said, "Really?" I said, "Oh, okay." And then I actually saw her because I went to service the next day and I saw her. And then she was like, "You look different." I said, "Really?" She was like, "I almost didn't recognize you." I said, "Come on." She was like, "No, I'm serious." She was like, "You look different." She's like, "You look good. Your skin, everything, you look good. You look like a weight was lifted off you." And then I saw my supervisor. I'm just like, whatever. She's just being nice. The next day, I saw my supervisor. He said the same thing. He said, "You look different, man. You look good." I said, "Really?" I said, "Oh, okay, awesome." You know, confirmation.
Cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Well, great. Well, was there anything anyone else had kind of to button this up?
I think that well, first of all, it was a much needed time for me. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. You all were gracious hosts. Thoroughly appreciate the hospitality. It was awesome. You know, it was a life changing experience. And I know that I grew in that week. It was only a week, but I grew. You know, and I needed it. So just want to thank you guys again for everything.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to have you, Solomon.
It was definitely.
Okay, well, we'll stop this for now. Thank you.
Thank you.